Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really jumping into the deep end of One Piece lore.
Yeah, specifically targeting those really complex bits, the secrets of the Void Century.
Exactly. With all the buzz around Emu and maybe getting that Rocksteady Zebek flashback soon, it feels like we're right on the edge of the big reveals about the ancient world.
And that definitely means we need to look way past the current events in the story.
Right.
Because the whole narrative, it's really a result of things that happened like thousands of years ago. So our job today really is to build a solid theory backed by the sources for one of the most mysterious names out there, Davy Jones.
Okay, Davy Jones. Now, beyond that mention back in the Foxy arc, Robin saying he was an old pirate cursed by a demon, do we actually have anything else official to go on? Like anything solid?
Honestly, that's pretty much it. We get a name and we know he's cursed. That's the baseline.
Wow, okay. Slim pickings.
Yeah. So we kind of have to approach it the way Oda seems to approach mythology himself. If a character seems based on real-world lore, we trace that inspiration, like we did with Loki parallels.
Right, digging into the source material Oda might have used.
Exactly. So to figure out the One Piece Davy Jones, we need to understand the legend's roots first. And there's sort of two main ones.
And those, you're saying, mix ancient stories with modern pop culture.
Precisely.
Okay, so where do we start? Maybe the one people probably recognize right away, the Pirates of the Caribbean version. That feels like something Oda would definitely play with.
Absolutely. That's a great starting point. Oda doesn't just stick to ancient myths. He blends things, makes them feel new, but familiar.
Yeah.
Disney basically took the old Flying Dutchman legend and slapped the Davy Jones name onto it. We should probably look at the key story beats there.
Okay, yeah. So in that version, Davy Jones was originally just a guy, right? A sailor.
Human sailor, yeah.
Who made the big mistake of falling for a god Calypso, the sea goddess, who's notoriously, fickle.
Right. And to prove he was serious, he took on this sacred duty, ferrying souls lost at sea to the afterlife. Kind of a grim reaper for sailors.
And the catch was huge. He could only see Calypso once every 10 years.
Exactly. A massive commitment.
But then comes the betrayal, which is like the key moment. He finishes his 10 years, comes back, and she's not there. Stood him up.
Total abandonment. He feels tricked, used, and that pain, that specific emotional agony, is what drives him to literally carve out his own heart.
Right, and lock it in the dead man's chest. Wild.
And by doing that, he's basically ditching his soul, his ability to love, his humanity, everything.
So once he's heartless,
yeah,
he just quits his job.
Worse than quits. He completely abandons his duty. He starts corrupting the whole process. He uses people's fear of dying, basically forces sailors who don't want to die into joining his cursed crew. Eternal servitude.
He goes from being this devoted lover, the servant of fate, to basically being the devil of the sea.
Yep, a complete transformation into this monstrous figure.
So if we're mapping this onto One Piece, what's the big theme here? Power corrupting. Betrayal, creating monsters.
It really seems to be about how suffering and betrayal can turn someone into the very thing they might have once fought against. Or, the idea that whoever holds the power becomes the devil in someone else's story.
Right, it's cyclical. Calypso might seem like the villain first, then Jones becomes the villain.
Exactly. And maybe then the Navy or other pirates, everyone's fighting the current devil. And importantly, in the movies, the only real way to free Davy Jones from that curse, that existence, was to kill him, stab the heart.
A mercy killing, almost.
Kind of, yeah, ending his suffering. That's a really potent idea that might resonate in One Piece.
Okay, that's a heavy foundation from pop culture. Now, let's shift gears. You mentioned an older biblical inspiration, the prophet Jonah.
Yes, absolutely foundational. Many scholars think the name Davy Jones itself might be a sort of linguistic drift from Jonah. And considering Oda pulls from biblical stories, the Kuma stuff, having parallels looking at Jonah, makes a lot of sense.
So what's Jonah's deal? What's his story?
Jonah's main thing is refusal. Disobedience. God tells him, go to Nineveh, preach salvation. But Jonah, he thinks Nineveh's wicked, doesn't deserve saving. He actually wants them punished.
So he just says no to God?
Pretty much. He literally runs away, gets on a boat, going in the opposite direction, trying to escape God's command.
And that doesn't end well, I'm guessing.
Not at all. God whips up this massive storm. Total chaos at sea. Jonah realizes, uh-oh, this is my fault. And he tells the sailors, look, just throw me overboard. It's the only way to stop the storm. He basically chooses death over doing what God asked.
But he doesn't die.
Nope. God sends a huge fish, often called a whale, to swallow him whole.
Wow. Wow.
And he's stuck inside for 3 days and 3 nights. It's not heaven, not hell. It's like this limbo. A timeout, basically. A place for him to think about messing up.
Like a kind of purgatory.
Exactly. A biblical purgatory. Isolated, trapped, forced to reflect.
And that's where the connection to sailors' myths comes in, being swallowed by a whale.
Yeah, that imagery stuck. Sailors started associating bad luck or storms with having a Jonah on board someone causing trouble through disobedience. And linguistically, some theories suggest Jonah evolved into Jones over time in sailor slang.
Okay, so Davy Jones's locker, that phrase. Could it be linked to Jonah's whale belly experience?
It fits perfectly. Davy Jones's locker isn't necessarily the bottom of the sea or hell. It's more like that whale's belly, a place of punishment, isolation, being held in suspension, neither truly alive nor dead.
A prison?
A prison for the disobedient, yeah. And remember that initial feeling Jonah had, that hatred for Nineveh, wanting the wicked to suffer. That powerful negative emotion is key.
Okay, so we have two strong templates. The pirates one, betrayed crewmate loses his soul, becomes a monster. The Jonah one, crewmate punished for refusing a command, trapped in purgatory, full of hate.
Right. Two different paths to becoming this cursed figure.
So how do we map these onto one piece? Where do we see these patterns? You mentioned characters mirroring Jonah.
We look for that pattern. Refusal, some kind of exile or being cast out, and then maybe eventually fulfilling a duty. Let's start with Rox DX back.
Okay, Rox. We know he supposedly worshipped Davy Jones. How does he fit the Jonah mold?
Well, think about it. Rox wanted to overthrow the celestial dragons, right? You could see them as the wicked city that needs dealing with.
The ultimate evil in the world, yeah.
And we know he cared about slaves, like the giants. So he had this desire for salvation for the oppressed. But maybe, like Jonah, he was driven more by wanting the wicked, the CDs, to suffer. Vengeance, not just justice.
So his refusal was rejecting the world order maintained by Emu, the ultimate power.
Plausibly, yeah. He refused Emu's command, the status quo, and fled to sea. But his crew, not exactly loyal buddies, built on strength and ambition.
Right, Kaido, Big Mom, Whitebeard, not the most stable team.
And then, God Valley. Just like Jonah's crew threw him overboard to save themselves.
Rox was betrayed by his own crew. Figures like Garp and Roger stepped in, but his own people turned on him.
He was cast out, defeated. He tried to save the slaves, challenge the gods, and ended up betrayed. It fits the Jonah pattern of refusal leading to being thrown overboard.
But hang on, if Rox worshipped Davy Jones, and Davy Jones is this ancient, cursed figure, why did Rox use the Davy backfight to build his crew? That game seems like something a tyrant uses.
That's a really sharp point, and maybe the key. The Davy backfight is about forced subservience, stealing crewmates. It connects more to the pirate's version of Jones, the enslaver.
So Rox wasn't just refusing God, he was trying to become a different kind of God. Or devil.
Maybe. By using that game, maybe Rox was trying to beat the celestial dragons by playing their own game, becoming a rival emperor, an evil they'd understand, instead of like embodying Nika's freedom.
He copied the methods of the devil he worshipped.
Possibly. Mimicking the tyrant Davy Jones, which ultimately didn't work. It led to his own downfall through betrayal.
Okay, Rox as a corrupted Jonah figure, that's fascinating. But you also mentioned Usopp and said his Water 7 arc was 10,000% Jonah. How does that work? Seems almost comical.
It does sound funny, but it fits surprisingly well on a human, emotional level. Think about Water 7. Usopp gets a command from his captain, Luffy.
Who we can kind of parallel with sun god Nika, the champion of God in this theory.
Right. Luffy's command is, abandon the going merry. It's necessary, but Usopp doesn't get it. He's emotionally attached. He refuses the order.
Rejects the captain's word. His divine command.
Exactly. And then what does he do? He flees. He defies Luffy. They have that brutal duel.
And after he loses, the crew leaves him behind. They metaphorically throw him overboard.
And Usopp enters his own purgatory. He stops being Usopp, right? He puts on the Sujrite mask. He's alone, wrestling with what he did, his fear, his perceived failure.
He's spiritually in the belly of the whale.
Absolutely. Hiding his identity, reflecting. And the payoff. It mirrors Jonah perfectly. Jonah eventually does go to Nineveh and saves the wicked city. Usopp, after accepting the Mary has to go, travels to Italy's lobby the world government's evil city to help save Nico Robin.
Who the WG labels a demon, unworthy of being saved.
Exactly. Usopp overcomes his initial refusal and fear to fulfill this huge, selfless act, saving the demon from the wicked city. It's a beautiful parallel.
Wow, okay. That Usopp connection is actually really strong. Refusal, exile, purgatory, then fulfilling the mission. It maps directly.
It really does.
So let's pull all this together. We have the Pirates Jones, the Jonah Jones, we have Rox, we have Usopp. How does this build into a grand theory about Davy Jones in the Void Century?
Okay, so the theory goes like this. The Davy backfight game itself, it wasn't originally about tyranny. It was created to get Davy Jones back.
To get him back from what?
From being lost. The idea is that Davy Jones was originally part of Joy Boy's crew. Joy Boy being the Nika figure, the champion of God.
Okay, so Jones was maybe like Joy Boy's Usopp. Or maybe his buggy. Not necessarily the strongest, but loyal. Maybe clever.
Exactly. Maybe he wasn't the fighter. Maybe he saw a way to beat their enemy, let's call the ultimate devil Emu, or Emu's power structure, without a huge war. So Jones challenges the devil to a game, the original Davy backfight. He tries to outwit evil, not punch it.
Like trying to trick the devil at a crossroads.
Sort of, yeah. But he loses.
He loses the game.
He loses. And in the Davy backfight, the winner takes something precious, a crewmate, a flag, a symbol of identity. Jones didn't just lose a bet, he lost his soul. He forfeited his essence. And that's when he was transformed. Cursed by the demon, maybe Emu, or the consequences of the loss itself, he became the devil's pawn.
And this connects to the Pirates version, carving out the heart.
Right. Maybe metaphorically, maybe even literally in the One Piece world, Jones removed his soul, his heart, because of the shame or the pain of that loss and transformation.
Okay. And the evidence. You mentioned the giant straw hat.
Yes. The giant straw hat that Emu keeps frozen beneath Marie Joye's. What if that isn't Joy Boy's hat?
What if it's Davy Jones's hat?
Exactly. What if it's the flag, the soul, the symbol of the crewmate that Emu won in that ancient Davy backfight?
Emu keeps it as a trophy. Proof of capturing the soul of Joy Boy's crewmate. Whoa.
It fits the rules of the game perfectly. The hat represents the lost crewmate Emu, imprisoned or cursed.
That puts Joy Boy's failure in a whole new light. He didn't just fail to beat Emu.
He also couldn't bring himself to do what might have been necessary, according to the pirate's lore, kill his own friend, Davy Jones, to end the curse, to destroy the devil's pawn.
He couldn't kill his Usopp.
Right. So he chose option C. Maybe he defeated the demon Davy Jones in some way, but he didn't kill him. Instead, he imprisoned Jones, or his essence, somewhere Enu couldn't reach.
Laugh Tale.
That's the theory. Laugh Tale is the ultimate prison, the final locker.
So, the reason pirates still play the Davy backfight, maybe instinctively, is because they never actually got Davy back.
The memory lingers.
Yeah.
The need to recover the lost soul is embedded in pirate culture. Davy Jones, the lost friend, the first victim maybe, is literally part of the One Piece treasure. He needs to be found or saved.
Okay, this changes everything. The whole goal of the
It
story.
reframes the entire narrative, yeah. If we follow this Usopp Jonah thread, the ultimate goal isn't just beating the bad guy.
It's saving him. Saving the devil's champion.
Potentially. Davy Jones, the cursed one, is actually God's lost treasure, Joy Boy's lost friend, the Usopp who left and never came back.
So, Luffy's inherited mission from Joy Boy isn't conquest, it's redemption.
To win, Luffy, as the new sun god Nika, has to somehow convince Davy Jones, or whatever embodies that curse now that he was wrong, that forgiveness is possible, even for him. And that brings us back to the location. Where do you find someone lost like that? The source material points back to Jonah,
The belly of the whale.
that idiom born from Jonah's story. It represents facing the void, fear, the limits of what we know. A deep, dark, isolated place.
And in One Piece, we have Laboon, these giant sea kings, maybe even a literal Moby Dick figure out there. The importance of whales seems huge.
So maybe Laugh Tale, the location of the One Piece, is literally inside something immense, something terrifying, like Jonah's whale.
The ultimate locker.
The place of ultimate isolation. Luffy has to sail right into the heart of that fear to retrieve his lost treasure, the soul of Davy Jones, or what he represents.
Okay, this leads to the final mind-bending question. Luffy's dream. The one that's so ridiculous it made Roger laugh out loud. If Luffy is inheriting Joy Boy's will,
What was Joy Boy's dream that Roger found so absurdly funny yet profound? The theory suggests Joy Boy's dream, and therefore Luffy's dream, is to make the devil laugh.
make the devil laugh.
Yeah, think about it. Davy Jones, the heartless, cursed demon. The ultimate impossible task is to restore joy, laughter, humanity to him.
To break the curse, not with violence, but with joy.
Roger laughed because it sounds completely insane, right? How do you make pure evil laugh? But maybe that's exactly the kind of impossible Nika-like solution the world needs.
Saving the devil by bringing him joy. That is definitely a shocking dream, an impossible promise.
And it fits Luffy perfectly, doesn't it? He doesn't fear the devil. He'd absolutely sail into the belly of the beast, literal or metaphorical, to get his friend back.
To put the soul back in the hat and the heart back in the man.
Precisely.
And thinking about it, if Davy Jones became this devil because his dream was crushed and his symbol stolen, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, how many other devils might the world government have accidentally created over the centuries just by crushing dreams and taking away hope?
That's a heavy thought. Is evil always inherent, or is it sometimes manufactured? Created by systemic betrayal and loss. Something to definitely think about.
Absolutely. Thanks for diving deep with us today.